What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Moving to Florida show. This is Judson, joined by Mohit Badlani and Yaya 2H's Chotani.
That's right.
Wow, you got it perfect, man.
He's nodding at me over there. I was corrected last time. There are 2H's in Chotani. Well, how are you today, gentlemen?
Good, man. How you guys been?
Very well.
All right, we're doing all right. You know what? Forget it, guys. Let's just jump straight into it.
What are we talking about today? What are we talking about today?
Well, you've all heard about Florida Man, right? But we're not talking about Florida Man today.
Oh, no, we're not.
Mo, with that, I'll leave it to you.
All right, we're going to be talking about women in Florida, women who've shaped Florida, women in Florida, people we've worked with, our experiences in the real estate side of things, and not it doesn't necessarily have to go into all of real estate today. We can talk about the other women that have shaped Florida. So we appreciate you women, since it is, Women's History Month, the month of March. We wanted to do this show for the ladies this time.
That's right. This one's for the ladies.
This one's for the ladies. Sounds like an old DJ. Casey Kasem. Can I name drop Casey Kasem on here? I did it twice.
I don't know. You're dating yourself there.
I know, right?
Mohit, man, what am I going to say to you, bro?
you got to do that deep voice. This one's for the ladies.
Man.
All right, so yeah, we are going to be talking about women that have shaped Florida, and all the famous women that were either lived here, born here, or contributed to the state of Florida. We're also going to be talking about our experiences in real estate with working with the opposite sex, and how that's like, and then we'll take the conversation from there. How about that?
Let's do it.
Sounds like a game plan. How are we going to kick this thing off?
All right. I actually wanted to start off with just our experiences working with the opposite sex in real estate, working with other agents that are female, and working with our buyers or sellers that are females as well. So not trying to dive in deep saying, hey, this is a big separation between the two and whatnot. We're not trying to do all that stuff. We're not trying to go into a whole, this whole sexist conversation type of thing. We're just going to explain to you our views and our experiences in real estate. So first off, I just wanted to give out a little fact. Did you know we have more women in who are realtors in Florida than we have men? So 65% of all realtors were female last year and this year.
That's a big number, man.
65% of all realtors are female.
It's very cool when you see that, because a lot of people talk about real estate, and funny thing is, we talked about women. We're going to jump back into real estate for a quick
We're going to start off with real estate, and then we're going to go into a little bit about shaping Florida, because we are, moving to Florida, and why? And why not talk about the women in Florida that have shaped Florida?
No, for sure, man. And you brought up something cool. It's always fun when talking to you guys, man. You guys make me think of a lot of stuff that's just in the back of my head. And I have a good friend of mine. She works in Miami.
We're going to try to move some of those thoughts to the front of your head.
Yeah, let's do it. So she's an agent. She's been a realtor for less than a year. Moved to Miami from Indiana. Used to have some smoke shops over there. And within her first year, as an agent, if it's your first year in real estate and you close 10 million, that's a huge deal.
Huge.
And
it's huge, yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of these agents that are coming in, and a lot of these females, they're really really good. Like, they have a lot of, I would say, energy, passion, enthusiasm. Plus, I think people misunderstand real estate and the benefits of working as an agent. It gives you so much freedom. Plus, if you really hustle in, man, like, it doesn't matter you're a man or a woman. You can make it work.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about this business.
Yeah, absolutely. And even based off of my experience as well, I've worked with more single women buying real estate and homes and investing than I have with single males. I mean, obviously, we've worked with mostly families, but if you want to break it down, I've worked with more single females looking to buy their first home or their secondary home or even an investment home than I have with males. That could just
I've never thought about that or quantified that, but I think I have too, actually.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
That's quite interesting. Yeah. And not only that, it's I think the single women that are buying new homes and that are investing into homes, they're not looking short term. They're looking long term. They're looking at, how can I invest into this property that I'm going to live in and make sure my kids have it. So they have all their, their I's dotted, their T's crossed and whatnot. So they've got their stuff together. Well, for at least with the women that I've worked with that are buying their home or investing, they've done their homework. They've looked at the homes that they've won online, and they know exactly what they want and how they want their home.
Dude, you made me look up my stats just now on applications. Yeah. I got 70% female applications.
There you go.
My mortgages right now, man. I didn't even think of that. Judson is like, you know what? And I'm like, dude, let me look it up. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah, and I'll tell you this.
Numbers. Yeah, you can see women spend more on purchasing homes than men do, or even try to attempt to purchase a home.
And they're very well organized, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that, man. It's funny. I'm not trying to trash guys over here in any way. Okay, I'm just saying that some people are more organized than some other people. But if you're sending, and I think it shows seriousness. I think it shows vigor. It shows your, like you said, mental focus, and you're really goal oriented. You have a goal in mind. You're going to hit it. You're going to do it, and that's amazing, man. And you got me to think of one more thing. So my branch where I work, I'm one of the 2 guys that work there. The rest are all ladies.
Yeah.
So potentially more females in the mortgage industry as well here in Florida.
Yeah. Getting dominated, man.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Oh, that's good news stuff.
Yeah, it's actually very cool.
Yeah. Any experiences that you want to, or any examples? You don't have to put any names out or anything like that that you've dealt with and had some kind of. No, I don't want to say out of body experience or any kind of experience that helped that helped you in your career.
Well, I could definitely take an example of my area manager, because I think, and I don't know if this is in relation to her being, a female or a male, but it definitely is an interesting experience, because I think, maybe she's a little more, I would say, empathetic, a little more helpful in that sense. And I think as guys, we're not very emotional when we talk about things, and we're not very empathetic. I think, we're very to the point. And a lot of times I think females have a special skill or a way of looking through things differently. And for me, I think that's been quite massive as an opportunity, honestly, because I think if I did not meet this person, the other person may not have been as significant in my personal growth. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to actually validate and recognize that, and thank my area manager who's going to listen to this episode, and my branch manager. I want you guys to listen to this, because you know what? I think I would like to take this moment to appreciate you guys and actually say that, being in this industry, doing everything you guys have done, and especially, a branch that was, I think, 90% female. And I'm not saying that you guys were against guys or anything, but it's like a different move, It's kind of like a boys club, girls club kind of thing, and you just welcome me in there, right, and help me grow from the base level LO to who I am today, where I'm actually with these really cool dudes, recording a podcast, and we're doing all these fun things. We're helping so many more people, right, and just having, I think, the ability to work with some people that believe in you, mm-hmm, guide you, and help shape your future, so you could do that for other people.
Yep.
So hats off to these ladies, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got a drum roll here?
There you go. There you go. Any experiences you want to share, Judson?
Well, I was just thinking we're talking about women in real estate, and so I have to give a hats off to my wife, because there are so many things.
Go.
She is the better half, maybe.
I think for all three of us, we all three think your wife is the better half.
So, there. And you're not saying that because she listens, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so she and I do work together kind of as a team, though we're not officially branded as a team or anything. Teams are kind of a thing in real estate, but we do really each have our own strengths that we kind of bring to the table. And hers is definitely being able to look at a house and see the bigger picture, see, what needs to go where, the whole decor and design. She's so good at that and knows how to do that. And like one of the jokes, I work with a lot of real estate investors personally, and I always tell them when I'm first getting to know them, I'm like, look, I can only talk about how pretty a kitchen or a bathroom is so much. Like, that's just not my forte. But she knows all of that stuff. Like she can walk into a bedroom and tell you like the color that the wall is at Sherwin-Williams, like the actual name of the color,
That's amazing.
That's impressive, right?
That's amazing.
Like, I'm like, it's blue. And it's like, okay, first of all, that's green and it's this shade of green. So there really is a thing that where some women have an extra cone in their eye where they can see more colors than anyone else. And I'm convinced my wife has that. Because she can look at, like, to me, I'm looking at two, cards and they're the exact same color and she can tell them apart.
Yep.
And tell you what color each one is.
Amazing.
So no, that's just where, my brain goes when we're talking about women in real estate. It's just thinking about how good she is at laying out a house and pointing out where everything needs to go. The organizing, we were talking about women being organized a minute ago.
Right.
And, just having all those skills with the color and really people skills too that maybe I don't always have. She's very empathetic and knows how to talk to people as they're trying to purchase a house and get something done. So yeah, hats off to her.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to your wife too. She's very warm and welcoming, and she's a very extrovert. She'll go out and just talk to anybody and everybody and get along with them really well. So yeah, that's something. Shout out to Judson's wife out there. And who is actually working at the house right now? I heard.
Yeah. So we talked about having our wives on this podcast, and it sounded like everyone's wives were busy today. Mine is working on the remodel of the home that we purchased that we're trying to get into. Hopefully, in the next month or so, we'll be able.
Oh, so you're looking at that quick? That's a quick turnaround. So how is that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, possibly that quick. We'll see. There's a big list of things to do.
It's always a big list.
But that's a really, you know what, Judson, that's awesome, man. Like that's a very cool experience you guys are sharing, because let me tell you, it's not everybody can have that, because it's very hard. Like real estate itself is very hard. Like, to meet somebody practical enough to understand your vision, share that vision, and put in that work. Because, we shoot strategies and talk about these, and a lot of times first-time buyers, we tell them, hey, listen, you can buy an FHA loan and, buy a home, live in there for a couple of years. You don't have to have your dream home. And a lot of people are like, man, what about a renovation? They look into the idea, but they just can't come to terms with it because it's a lot of work. Yeah. Like you're saying, so man, hats off to you guys for actually doing this, making it happen as professionals and a couple. Like that's a pretty big deal, man.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, that's enough. That's enough information from Judson. It's enough compliments for Judson.
I think this was more like a Judson Appreciation Day.
Well, here I was thinking we were coming to talk about women in Florida's history.
Yeah, there you go. So I do have a list. I want you guys to chime in and see if any of these resonate with you, or anyone know that person, or maybe not know them, or even went to or did something along the lines that that these women started. So I'm going to start off with Mary. I'm most likely going to mispronounce most of these names, but I'll try my best. Mary McLeod Bethune is an educator and civil rights activist, and started a school for African American students in Daytona Beach, which is Central Florida, known as Bethune-Cookman University. And then we have Roxy O'Neill Bolton. She was actually born in Mississippi and moved to Miami and Coral Gables after graduating high school. She also became a civil rights activist, and especially focusing on women's rights in Florida. All right. And then we have Gwen Cherry. She was an attorney and founder of the National Association of Black Women Attorney. Her father was the first Black doctor in Miami, where she was born, and she was educated in Florida A&M, where she got her law degree. She taught school in Miami and at Florida A&M, and was elected to the Florida House of Representatives in 1970. She was the first Black woman to serve as a Florida state legislator. And then we have, then we have Jacqueline Cochran. She was an aviation pioneer who was famous as a racing pilot. Well, that's cool. She set numerous
That's pretty cool.
aviation records and was the first woman to break the sound barrier. She
Wow.
right? She headed the Women's Air Force Service Pilots, known as WASP, during World War II, and organization of more than 1,000 women who ferried airplanes from factories to various cities. She was born and raised in the Florida Panhandle. And then we have Sherry Down. She came to the United States from Iran, so she was an immigrant when she was 13 years old, and she graduated from Berea College in Kentucky with a degree in biology. She spent most of her professional career working for the Brevard County on environmental issues. She was a champion of beach preservation, so why our beaches are preserved is because of her, and is honored by Sherry Down Park in Cape Canaveral. Have you guys been to the Cape Canaveral area?
I haven't been there personally.
No. What about you, Judson?
We always get hung up at Cocoa Beach.
You don't go past Cocoa, just stop before you hit.
That's right.
All right. And then we have Judy Canova. She was born in Stark, Florida. Anyone ever been to Stark, Florida, or heard of Stark, Florida?
Is that end in a T or a K?
It ends with an E. Stark, Starke, Florida.
I've heard of that, I think. Yeah,
well,
tell us about her.
She's nationally famous. She became a nationally famous comedian, actress, singer, and radio personality. She was also in Broadway plays and in movies. She hosted her own network radio program, The Judy Canova Show, from 1943 to 1955. And then we have Marjorie Harris Carr. She is the wife of Archie Carr. She was famous for her own right. She was
famous in her own right.
In her own right. Yeah, I'm reading that wrong.
So Marjorie was one. Marjorie was one that I was bringing because if you think about when you're going up and down I-75, there's one overpass you pass over and there's trees on it.
Yep.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And if you look at the signs, it says Marjorie Harris Carr Greenway.
That is true.
And so every time I go up and down the I-75, I'm like, I think that's a bike path. I want to go ride my bike on it. So I finally did it.
Yeah, you did.
I did finally do it. And I learned about Marjorie Harris Carr because I went, okay, why does she have a greenway? Yeah, did you guys know that back in the 1930s, they were planning on building a canal across the Florida Peninsula?
Really?
No. Wow.
All the way. Yes, they were planning on building a canal all the way across the Florida Peninsula that was going to go here. I lost my page. I was looking at it a minute ago. It was going to go from somewhere south of Jacksonville, and it was going to go southwest through Ocala, and then actually come out in the Gulf. And the idea was it would take 3 days off of barge traffic, so they didn't have to go all the way around the peninsula. But there was a little bit of a problem with putting a canal all the way across the state, right? Big unnatural waterway with big barges going through it.
Yep.
And that's that Florida's wildlife would have been affected by it. Right. All the different wildlife we had, especially out through that area. So Marjorie Harris Carr is actually the person that led the charge against defeating that canal that they were going to dig. And she succeeded. They did get it shut down, though they did dig some of it through the different waterways and stuff.
Yeah.
But she got it shut down. And now that whole stretch where the canal was going to be is a greenway. So there's bike trails, multi-use paths, and all of that through that whole area that's named after her.
Yeah. It's 110 miles long, too.
Wow.
So, so she's covered a lot of ground over there.
There you go. And you know what? So whenever I went, remember I said going up and down I-75, I always saw that. And I saw that sign. So I had to hunt it down one day. And that path where it goes over I-75, the reason it has the trees and all of that you can see is that wildlife actually uses it. They wanted to keep it like a natural look. And just like we were talking about this canal cutting off wildlife, well, the interstates we have today kind of do the same thing, right? Yeah. So that's why they put this part of the greenway across it, and they kept it all green and kept the trees and stuff on it, so that the animals will still use it. And they had a picture of a big black bear actually using it crossing I-75 on that overpass. Thought it was pretty cool.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. Yeah. There you go. And then we have Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. She was a journalist, author, and conservationist. Her classic book, The Everglades River of Grass, was written in 1947 and has been credited with influencing in the creation of numerous parks related to the Everglades Conservation Group. Then we have Jessie Ball DuPont. Now, we've all heard of the DuPonts, right? DuPonts. She was the wife and widow of wealthy industrialist Alfred I. DuPont. After his death in 1935, she managed the philanthropic activities of Alfred I. DuPont Testamentary Trust. So I guess she became a philanthropist. And then Paula Hawkins. She was the only woman from Florida elected to the U.S. Senate. She was also the first woman from the United States to be elected to a full Senate term from 1981 to 1987 without having a close family member who previously served in major public office. She also lived she lived in Winter Park, Florida. So, right.
Dude, that's a big deal, man. That's huge.
Yeah, it is.
With politics?
Yeah.
That's a...
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we have
Winter Park, man. That's cool.
Yeah. So Winter Park is what, Central Florida, Orlando area, Orange County. Yeah. And then we have Zora Neale Hurston. She was an author and a filmmaker, and her most popular novel was Their Eyes Were Watching God. She was raised in Eatonville, Florida, and she died in Fort Pierce, Florida. So she was raised here. And then we have May Mann Jennings. She founded the League of Women's Voters in Florida, and was the wife of Florida Governor William Sherman Jennings. She was known as the mother of Florida forestry for her contributions to conservation. And then we have Beth Johnson. Elizabeth Beth McCulley Johnson was a member of Florida House of Representatives and the Florida Senate. She was the first female elected as state senator in Florida history. She was elected a state senator in 1962. She was instrumental in establishing UCF in Orlando.
Wow.
Yeah. University of Central Florida in Orlando. So she was a major, major contributor to UCF. And then we have Betty May Tiger Jumper. And you mentioned there before the show began. You tell me about her.
I mean, honestly, man, the name caught my eye. I was like, Tiger Jumper.
Yeah, right.
But
cool name.
The cool thing is, being born in Seminole Camp near Indiantown, which I've never been there. I've only heard about it. And, she was the first and only female chief of the Seminole tribe of Florida, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Only female chief. That's like,
huge.
Yeah, the thing is, and just to say that I'm not trying to say one of them is better, but a lot of these women you've talked about, man, like it's quite a feat they've established, to be able to, and a lot of them suffering losses of not having their partners and being able to take their legacy to the next level on their own. It's just impressive, man. It's like, it shows you the power of the human mind and the ability and just how far we can go. And she was a nurse. So Betty May Tiger Jumper was actually a nurse and a newspaper editor. And she was the first Florida Seminole to learn how to read and write English. And her first language is, I don't know how to pronounce them properly, but Miccosukee and Creek. And in the segregated Florida for childhood, Seminoles were not permitted to enter white or black schools. So that's a pretty tough, upbringing, and being able to gather through that tough time. Man, it's I'm telling you, the more I see this list with you, I'm just blown away, dude. I'm like, man, if I can be 10% like these people,
right?
That would be something, man. It's incredible.
All right, I'm going to go through some of these. I mean, there's so many of wonderful women that have shaped Florida. I'm just going to run through a few more. Frances Langford, she was a singer and actress. She was also born in Florida and died in Jensen Beach. She made many world tours with Bob Hope during the wartime as well. Then you have Thelma Butterfly McQueen. She was born in Tampa, had a successful career as a dancer, and then she was in one of the most famous movies of all time, Gone with the Wind, and she played Prissy, Prissy, a housemaid, and became a legend for her famous line, "Oh, Miss Scarlet, I don't know nothing about birthing babies. And then we have Ruth.
I was really hoping you were going to do that in character.
I know, right?
You might need to watch Gone with the Wind again.
I need to watch Gone with the Wind again. And then Ruth Bryan Owen. She was the first Florida female U.S. representative being elected to Congress in 1929. She was also became a ambassador to Denmark and Iceland. And her husband ran for president 3 times and never won. She won her election. He didn't.
That was not a laugh, man. I was coughing, man. That was not a laugh. Oh my God, that was funny. I was like trying to contain my laugh so it doesn't. Sorry, my cough so it doesn't come out on the mic, and it just came out.
It just sounded like a laugh. All right, and then you have Bertha Palmer. She was widow of a millionaire, Potter Palmer. She came to Florida from Chicago in 1910. She bought 80,000 acres around Sarasota and 19,000 acres around Temple Terrace of Tampa. Golly,
that's a lot of land.
Man, that's a lot of land. She was. You're talking about real estate investor. Boom, right there. Yeah, she became prominent in Florida ranching, citrus, dairy, farming, and development. You know, she made a lot of money out in Florida.
Look, the land that is now Venice was part of her holdings. She owned the city of Venice. Florida.
Talk about owning the whole city. I own the city. Who can say that? There's very few people in this world that say, I own this city. And then you have Irva Moore Parks. She was a preservationist, author, historian in Miami. She helped preserve Truman's Little White House in Key West and the Biltmore Hotel and Venetian Pool in Coral Gables. And she wrote many books on history of Miami and Coral Gables. Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings was an American author as well who won a Pulitzer Prize for her best-known work, The Yearling. She spent most of her adult life in Cross Creek writing and managing her orange groves. And then someone we heard all in the 90s was Janet Reno. She was the first female attorney general of the United States. She was born in Miami and went to public school where she attended Cornell University and Harvard Law. And then we have Harriet Beecher Stowe. She wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin. And one of the earliest Florida travel I can't even pronounce this. Travelologies. I don't know. Palmetto Leaves. Upon meeting Miss Stowe during the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln said, "So you're the little lady who's starting this big war." Miss Stowe spent many of her winters in her home in Madrid, south of Jacksonville.
Travelogues is the word you were looking for there, man.
Travelogues. I don't know what I was looking at.
It's just spelled funny.
I know. It's just spelled funny. Ivy Stranahan, her husband, Frank, was a first permanent white settler in what is now known as Fort Lauderdale. He established a trading post in 1893 in New River and became friendly with the Seminoles. His wife, Ivory, was the first school teacher in Fort Lauderdale. Ivy, not Ivory. Ivy, yeah. And then you have Julia Tuttle, she was a businesswoman with land around the mouth of Miami River, which is now known as Miami. She is the mother of Miami. She also convinced Henry Flagler, which we have, Flagler County, to extend his railroad from West Palm Beach to Miami. She provided the land to Flagler for a hotel and railroad station. And there you go.
Wow, man, that's
there's I'm sure there's so many more prominent women and famous women that have shaped Florida, but these are just a few. Just to name a few.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, man. That's that thing is, it's a lot of times we're so busy we don't really realize all these people that have actually shaped the course of the state.
Yeah.
And if these people weren't who they were and did what they did, I mean, just imagine where we would be today. So
exactly.
So
shout out to these women for shaping Florida and the reason we are here in Florida.
Absolutely. Big shout out. And we just want to say I mean, I would say that, you know what, I'm extremely grateful for all these amazing people, man, that we have in our lives, including our wives, colleagues, people that we personally know, like, and trust and work with, and all these amazing women you just named out here. A lot of this stuff I didn't even know, man. I've been in Florida for 5 years, and I knew like maybe one or two names off this list.
Yeah.
Yep. Same. Well, hey, I'll say this before we wrap up. If you are looking to move to Florida and make some history of your own, you're going to need a good mortgage lender. You're going to need a good realtor, right? So with that transition, how can they get in touch with you if they need a loan?
Well, it's very easy to get in touch with me, man. My name, as Justin was pronouncing, is very unique. We're not going to find a lot of people with the first name Yahya, last name Chitani. Just Google me. I'm all over the place. And you can even find me on Instagram, where you're going to like some really cool content we have. And where can they find you, Mohit? And Justin, where they can find you guys?
Mo's got the wrap up, but I think you need to spell it for him because look, I'm a little white guy here and I might have trouble spelling that one. You got to help us out.
Yeah, Jetson is like, man, I got a text and I got a second text. Like, wait a minute, there's two H's. I know there's two H's. Oh man, that was funny. No, but dude, listen, hats off to you because you pronounced it perfectly. Like I know it throws people off because it's a different language and there's two H's in there, so it's very hard. But dude, like out of all the people that have said my name, you got it perfect, bro. So thank you.
Yeah, we were pronouncing it Otani.
Yeah. I mean, Jetson, I can understand, man. But you know what, bro? You got some. You know what? You should be ashamed of yourself. You should know this stuff.
All right, folks. We want to hear from you now. You can reach us on our Moving to Florida show hotline by dropping a voicemail or texting us to 407-900-5859 or drop us a DM on Facebook or Instagram at Moving to Florida Show. And for Twitter, our handle is at Moving to FL Show. If you'd like to connect with us, if you have any questions, or if you need a realtor or lender in Florida, you can reach us at movingtofloridashow@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to the show if you like our content so that it would automatically download to your device and get you one step closer to moving to Florida.